I became an orphan at a very young age. My parents died when we were young. My brother, who is older than me, is my half brother, but he's also my manager. And I'm married now to Ellie, who's also a singer. I met her at a bar one day, and of course, I had been drinking. And at first, this lifestyle didn't really matter. I didn't really care much about what I was doing to myself or even my career. But now that I'm married and my wife is an up and coming star, I'm starting to see that I'm also affecting her, and it's affecting her career. And most of this that I am doing is because she asked me to do it, and I feel that I love her enough to want to change. My brother, is pretty much on the verge of not wanting to work with me anymore because of my past ordeals that I've had. I black out when I drink. I really don't care what it is that I tell the people that I most care about. Mm-hmm. I guess I feel probably because I feel that they're always going to be there for me, I feel like I can hurt them the most because he is my brother and she's my wife. And and the reason why I came is because she asked me to see if maybe I could try to get some help to not only better myself, but also better our relationship that I have with her, and, continue my singing career, and, help her out, as well. And I'm not only doing it, for them, I'm also doing it for myself because, I do care a lot about her. And hearing her ask me for help, I kind of started realizing that maybe I do, need help. I started drinking at a very young age. I believe I was about 12. Went from drinking, then I went to something, harder. And now, every now and then, if I get, Coke, whatever's around, I do whatever. I've even, gone into opioids now, if that's what I can get into. I mix my alcohol with the Coke and with the pills, and it just has gotten me on this destructive path that I'm trying to get off of. So it's kind of where
Can you tell me a little bit about a little bit more about your family and your relationship with your brother?
Well, my brother kind of had to take the role of being a parent at a young age. He was, growing up himself, so I'm sure he it was thrown on, at him. Like I said, we lost our parents at a very young age, so I never really had a guidance. I was younger, he was older, so he kind of was able to manage his feelings and stuff a little more than I was. And, now I'm at the point where it's like, well, it doesn't really matter who I hurt, because I never had my parents there to kind of keep me in line. So those are usually the people that kind of keep you like straight edge, or try to keep you like on the path, to do good, out of, in life or whatever. And I never had that. And so I feel like my brother, it's not only me, I feel for my brother too, but I really, I just started singing at a young age, and, the drinking didn't help, and just going along with everything, it just kind of got I never realized I was on such a destructive path until I met my wife. And I really didn't care like who I hurt and who was hurt, along the way, because I was having fun and I was doing my own thing. Yeah. As far as, anything else family wise, I really, like I said, I was young, so I really didn't know much. I'm from Arizona. That's one thing that I do remember or recall because of what he would tell me. But, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So, but other than the drinking, you and your brother have a good relationship?
Yeah, for the most part, I believe maybe the drinking has kind of started to put a wedge between us, and the drugs and all that. And, like I said earlier, he's already kind of like given up on trying to help me. He's tried, and I've always just kind of let it go. And I think I pretty much damaged that to the point where I don't know if I'll be able to get back to where we once were. But
yeah, that makes sense. I'm sure like you being here is it's a great step in the right direction. So that I'm proud that you're here, and I'm sure your brother sees that you're making an effort.
Yeah.
So that is a big step. What about your job? Do you still like travel a lot? Or do you have a busy
always
day?
traveling, always, if I'm not at a concert, I'm having meetings or trying to work out some kind of scheduling going on. I mean, like every day every day is different, but every day is the same, if that makes any sense. Like every day's always busy, but I'm up, and as soon as I wake up, it's like on the go. Like, are we traveling here, or do we have a show here that I have to prepare for? Meetings that I have to meet with. I got to make sure that like our PR stuff is done. Do we have, if we're going to do a concert that day, is everybody in line? Is everything in check? Like, I got to make sure, like, so it is very stressful. There's a lot that goes behind the scenes. A lot of people just see the, me sitting up there, playing my instrument or whatever and singing, but a lot more goes behind it. It's not as easy as just sitting on a stool and singing. There's more that comes behind it. So it is stressful. That doesn't help with my drinking. That doesn't help with everything else. And then, at the end of my shows, it's kind of like you have that adrenaline rush from the crowd and from them hyping you up because they want more. And so once the concert's done, I still have that adrenaline in me, and which makes me want to go out and drink or go to a bar or pick up a bottle of whiskey and just go party after with the band crew or with the setup crew or whatever, because I'm always surrounded by people, and I'm always surrounded by people who either have some kind of alcohol, some kind of drug. Somebody's always willing to party no matter day or night.
Right.
And of course they see me as someone famous too, and they kind of think like, wow, like I want to party with him. And at the moment it probably seems fun, but when I go back, home or whatever, and I'm lonely and I'm stuck in this place, and everybody's just like, yeah, we got to party with Jackson, Maine, and I'm over here at home like feeling lonely or feeling, and even though I'm married, but it's not, I know that I have a problem now. I know that it's becoming a problem.
So it sounds like your busy schedule and your lifestyle has a little bit of effect on how you feel and all that.
Yeah. It could be overwhelming, very overwhelming. Yeah. And the way that I deal with it, I was never, like I said, going back to me losing my parents at a young age, I was never taught how to process my emotions, or I never had anybody there to nurture me the way a mother would nurture a son. So it's hard for me as an adult to learn how to cope with these emotions. And so the way my coping mechanism is either alcohol or drugs or sex or whatever is there, and so that's kind of where I'm at now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have that support system though, even after the drinking, even after the partying? Do you feel like you do have Allie and Bobby?
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. They're my biggest supporters. I cannot say one bad thing. Like I wouldn't be here asking for help if I didn't see that they truly cared for me and wanted the best for me.
Right.
So
how does, if you can tell me a little bit about how does like the drinking make you feel? And
at the moment, I mean, we've all drank here and there, I'm sure. So at the moment, of course, I could rush a high. You're like great and everything feels good and you're just happy and nothing, but at the same time, I don't remember what I say, and I can say some pretty awful things, I've heard, to, you know, whether it's my wife's looks, you know, and that's something that I would never do sober because I love her and I think she's beautiful. But once I'm drinking and I get to acting a certain way, it's just, there's no holding me back, and I just say whatever I say. And, you know, it's just, like I said, it's a quick fix at that point. But then, you know, the next day, it's like, once you start hearing, you know, what you did and how you made somebody feel, then I start feeling like crap. And all it does is just revert me back to wanting to drink, because I want to forget how I treated my wife or how I treated my brother or what I did the day before. So I kind of use alcohol as a numbing mechanism, per se. So that's how, you know, at the moment it feels okay, but then later is when I start feeling the effects. And in order to drown those effects out, I just go back to the bottle.
So you do recognize that you're using that as a coping mechanism.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's a big step in the right direction. Again, you recognizing it and you being here is very important, not only to you, but to your family. I can see that you do care for your family and for yourself. Have you ever tried seeing another counseling before you came here?
No, I never really thought I had an issue until, you know, my wife started, you know, bringing up these little things, or started telling me like things that I would tell her when I was drunk. So yeah, this is the first time that I've actually tried to seek some kind of help.
How do you feel when you're not using alcohol?
At the beginning, you know, I've tried to stop, and I do feel like, you know, of course, the hangovers and stuff like that. And I've gone a few days, and towards the, you know, the more I go, like, the better I feel. But then I'm like a concert away from like seeing a fan that's like, oh my God, I've always wanted to take a shot of whiskey with Jackson, Maine, and there I am. And then one shot turns into two, turns into a bottle, turns into three, and it just goes from there. So I can't, you know, I can't stop myself. It's either like I'm all in or I'm not in at all. So
yeah, so from what I hear is your job essentially doesn't really help you taking those steps into the right direction. Yeah, that's got to be tough. Does your brother ever drink with you?
He has occasionally, but not so one of the reasons also that I did come is because my wife's manager kind of started telling me, you know, the positive things that Allie's been doing since I've been away from her. Because as her manager, he advised her, you know, that maybe I wasn't the right fit for her and for her career. And that's the last thing that I want, is to stop her from pursuing her dreams, because I know how important that is. Because at one point that was my dream and I was able to fulfill it. And I know that it was very hard for her to get into the business because she has a very beautiful voice, but she was very insecure. And so her insecurities didn't let her show people the kind of voice that she had. And then finally she did. And I, you know, kind of introduced her to certain people that kind of got her that exposure. But at the same time that I'm the one that got her on this path to greatness, I'm also there, and I'm also, I believe, causing her, maybe holding her back from being fully what she could be, or where she could be. And you know, that was something that once I heard that I was not only affecting our marriage, I wasn't only affecting her, you know, self-esteem, I was also affecting her career and her dreams. That's when it clicked on me, because I wouldn't want someone to be that person for me and holding me back from my dreams.
That makes sense. So it sounds like you really love your wife and you love your family. that's something, a big motivation to us as to why you're here. That's a great step in the right direction, and I'm proud that you're here, and it's definitely a big step to where we want to be in the future, and how